What is the greatest comeback to an insult you've ever heard? Here's my favorite self-burn. In high school math class, a nice, nerdy guy named Richard, a jerk whose name I forget, let's call him Jerk. Jerk keeps calling Richard Brick. Like, hey, Brick, did you get the answer to 4? Richard keeps calmly saying it's Richard. Finally the teacher says, Richard, what do you prefer to be called? Richard says, I prefer Richard. Jerk says, well, I prefer Brick. After a few seconds of uproarious laughter from the rest of the class, Jerk realized what he said and sunk as far down in his seat as possible and never bugged Richard again. We were teenagers in the 80s, so this was the height of hilarity. You dress like a grandpa, that's why your mom calls me daddy. I once gave a classmate a penny and told him, it always feel nice giving money to the poor. He responds with, thanks man, with this I can frick your whole base mom and still get change. Go frick yourself. Frick me yourself, you coward. My sister, when she was 13, maybe 12. She was fighting with my little brother, 3 years older than her, and he was being aggressive and mean, and she clearly yells, I'd call you a dick but you're so fake, you're a dildo. My mom and I were in the kitchen and my mom yells at her, go to your room. My sister goes upstairs and my mom has tears in her eyes, choking back laughter. Where did she learn that? I told everyone I knew at the time. I called it the sickest burn of all time. It's still so beautiful. It's been told that former French President Jacques Chirac once made the following comeback, which is legendary in France. Some dude yelled at him Kinard. It means asshole, roughly. And he answered, pleased to meet you, I'm Jacques Chirac. From Casablanca. Lagarde, you despise me, don't you? Rick, if I ever gave you any thought I might. My former friend was 12 years my senior and she fancied herself pretty heavily. She was okay, but I doubt anyone was losing sleep over her. Dressed way too young, trying to hold on to her youth. One day she pointed out that I was overweight and dumpy looking next to her. I'd finally had enough. She made these comments often and I said, well, what about you? Excuse me? She snapped, I have the body of a 22-year-old. Well, give it back, you're stretching it out. This wasn't an insult personally, but it was a comeback on behalf of a nation. My father is Irish and he used to work in California. One day a particularly condescending colleague complimented my dad's work by saying I never thought I'd get to meet an intelligent Irishman. To which my dad replied, hopefully someday he'll be as fortunate with Americans, which went completely over his colleague's head. Today in one of my classes we were working on a project about careers, and one of the kids shouted, I want to be a male stripper. The teacher responded, I think you might be missing some of the qualifications for that job. I have read this historical meme where it went like this: British person, you, French people, fight for only money. We, British, fight for honor. French person, well, people fight for what they need the most. A friend of mine in first year university had never really dated any girls yet. This dumb meathead that we were kind of friends with told him, when you do get a girlfriend, I'm totally going to fuck her. He responded, if I had a girlfriend that would fuck you, her cheating on me wouldn't be the issue. I was in a Yahoo chat room, yes. I am old. And was like 15 years old. Some guy I had been talking to for a while, and whom I had told I was 15, sent me a dick pic out of nowhere. He asked me what I thought about it. I told him my mom always told me good things come in small packages. He was not impressed. The annoying kid of the grade had a spray bottle and kept on spraying it on people even though they asked him to stop, and some girl walked to him and it went something like this: dude, can you stop? Nah. Aw, is it the only way you can make a girl wet? Alright, so it goes like this. I had a bully in high school who was tiny. Like under 5 foot. I was 6 feet 3 inches at the time, so he would always pick on me, throw stuff at my head, push me around, stuff like that. I never fought back cause I hate violence. Anyway, one day we were in a class together and the class went on lockdown. It wasn't a drill, but we were told the campus wasn't in danger. So jokingly I said, I know why we're locked down. Maybe the zombie apocalypse started. The bully immediately replies, You dumbass, zombies aren't real. I shot back. Yeah, well, we didn't think hobbits were real, but you're standing here, aren't you? He lunged at me and got in trouble. My science teacher assigned a really hard test and almost everyone failed. Everyone complained and she responded with someone got a 93%, so it's not impossible. Then this one kid in the back said the answer key doesn't count, Mrs. Teacher. Someone once told me I had a face only a mother could love. I responded with yes, your mother. My dear grandmother. She had a quick and savage wit. My fiancé and I held a meet the whole family get-together at my house. It was the first time his father met my grandmother. His dad was a large, physically intimidating man with a beer gut. He began telling stories to my grandmother about how my fiancé was a mischief maker when he was young. Then told my grandmother how he would take off his belt and whip Joe for being bad. My frail little grandmother stares directly at my hubby's dad's tummy and says, "Your belt? However could you find it?" Future father-in-law was gobsmacked. I've been called much worse by people much better. Who the fuck are you? I'm the guy who does his job. You must be the other guy. In 8th grade this kid yelled in the cramped hallway, "Hurry up and move, you all smell like ass," to which I replied, "It's 'cause your mouth is too close to your nose." And my junior year of high school this huge girl called me an asswipe for no reason, so I said, "You're just mad I can actually wipe my ass." Gordon Ramsay asks his daughter on camera, "So what's it like being the daughter of the most famous chef in the world?" His daughter replies, "I wouldn't know, Jamie Oliver's not my dad." Boom. Roasted. I don't go down to the docks and take sailors' dicks out of your mouth, so why do you hassle me at work? A neighborhood kid was picking on my daughter, and she replied with, "I'm sorry you are so sad." Kid just walked away. Not quite an insult, but I still think of this comeback to this day. I have 2 little brothers and it was my dad's birthday, so the semi-extended family were all at a restaurant to celebrate. I had just graduated from my dad's alma mater, and my middle brother was currently a junior there. My youngest brother, a freshman, however, opted to go to state school. At one point my uncle said, "So youngest brother, how does your dad feel about you breaking the trend of our last name and going to alma mater?" My little bro thought for a moment and then said, "Well, he probably doesn't mind considering I also broke the trend of not being able to get higher than a 3.0. The table exploded and my other brother and I just stared at each other across the table like, holy fuck, did we just get brutally murderer? It's especially funny because my little bro was one of those shy high school kids who went off to college and came back fun and socially confident. I was hoping that development would happen, I just never expected it to stab me in the fucking face. I was at a Jets home game back when the Giants and them shared Giants Stadium. Someone wearing a Jets jersey says to someone wearing a Miami Dolphins uniform, "This is our house." Dude in Miami Dolphins uniform, "You're in Giants Stadium, asshole." Lost my shit after that one edit. The stadium is called MetLife Stadium now. Lunch lady got me in front my whole class. Tuna fish was for lunch. I said, "Tuna fish, I'd rather a shit sandwich." Without missing a beat this 80-year-old lady fires back, "Wait right there, I can make you one in the back." Needless to say I went with the tuna. When I was in middle school many years ago, a bully was teasing an awkward kid about not being able to get girls and being gay and never being able to get laid. Another bully spoke up to the first bully and said, "Bitch, you ain't had pussy since pussy had you," and the entire class and the teacher started laughing. The original bully shut up. Update: teacher didn't start belly laughing with everyone in the middle of the class. This occurred between classes, as students were coming in. Teacher definitely heard, definitely smiled, and stifled his laugh. He said, "Knock it off, boys, time for class to begin." Nobody clapped. No principal came in and clapped. This happened 30 years ago. Bully 1 is a police officer now. Bully 2 is a semi-truck driver. Awkward kid is a mechanical engineer. Sitting in a bar at 3 a.m. off of Bourbon Street. The windows are just open shutters. Dude who just left the bar leans in on our table to shout at some friends still in the bar. One of our group makes a silly/snide comment. Dude leaning in smacks the table with an open palm and says, "Everybody who ever loved you was wrong." Then he walks away without looking back. We still revel in that story. It was Harry's corner at Chartres and Dumaine. Also, for those of you saying how cruel this was, it was all said in the good-natured camaraderie that can only be accomplished by drunks at 3 a.m. We took it as a great insult and good fun, and all of us, including the insultee, just howled with laughter. Does your ass ever get jealous of the shit that comes out of your mouth? Mi respeita moleque. A única razão que eu não sou teu pai e porque tua mãe não tinha troco pra 20. Which roughly means show some respect, boy. The only reason I'm not your dad is because your mom didn't have change for a 20. Private Hudson. Hey Vasquez, have you ever been mistaken for a man? Private Vasquez. No. Have you? My favorite. When I was younger, people liked to call others gay as an insult. When other kids would ask, "Are you gay? I think you're gay," I'd simply reply, "Now don't you go getting your hopes up." From a drill instructor to another recruit in boot camp, is that acne on your face, or did you spend 9 months dodging a clothes hanger? A street hustler is trying to hand out / sell CDs and an overweight gentleman walks by and says no thanks. Hustler: if it was a donut, you'd eat it. Tubby: if it was $1, you'd beg for it. 1. Everyone thinks you're an asshole. 2. Well, you know what everyone thinks about you? Nothing. No one ever thinks about you. I know I don't. I was playing spades one time and a guy tried to lead the game off with a spade. I told him he couldn't do that. Spades have to be broken first. He refused to play by the rules, so I refused to play. He started singing, "The wheels on the bus go round and round," to imply that I was acting like a child. He asked me, "Do you know why I'm singing that?" I said, "Yeah, 'cause I'm taking you to school." Random kid: I bet you can't see your penis in the shower. My friend: nope, only your mom's head. Yes, I know this comeback was taken from somewhere, but that doesn't make it worse. In a heated argument, my mom called my brother a son of a bitch. He replied, "You got that right." A long time ago, when mom jokes were the vogue in my early 20s in the late 90s, and before I realized that courage wasn't just some level of manliness, I was telling a friend that they really needed to man up and tell someone the truth. I looked over and said, "Dude, don't make me punch you where your balls are supposed to be," all implying that indeed he was in fact ballless. Without dropping a beat, my friend just laid this one out there: "Dude, you're gonna punch your mom in the mouth? Touché, touché." Patting myself on the back for this one. I was helping a kid in class and big bully kid said him a nerd for helping. Told him, well, at least him graduating, whole class went too. Thought I had to fight the guy after, so I watched my back the rest of the day. He didn't graduate, got caught with drugs and spent a few years in jail. A girl told me if I took my shirt off at the beach the glare would blind everyone because I was so pale. I told her at least when I go the beach people don't try to push me back into the sea.